Gamble Pavilion on the campus of the University of Connecticut. We welcome you to UConn Women's Basketball on SNY. Today, the top-ranked and undefeated Huskies are back in stores, set to take on the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. And we are just outside the doors of Gamble Pavilion. I'm Eric Freed, to be joined in just a couple of minutes by Megan Como and Justine Ward. Inside those doors in just a few minutes, UConn will be trying for their 97th consecutive victory. Last time out, they were on the road, and they won their 35th in a row away from home, which broke their own NCAA record. It was a win over Temple. How did they do it? An outstanding first half, especially when it came to shooting the basketball. They shot 20 of 26 from the field. They turned Temple over. They converted off those turnovers en route to a complete first half of basketball and eventually a victory down in Philadelphia. And really, one key aspect for this UConn team that's been overlooked, but not anymore, is what they've done defensively. And for a closer look at that, here's Megan Como inside.
Eric, thank you very much. Get in here. It looks cold out there. It's a lot warmer inside in Gamble Pavilion. And now defense, yes, this team coming into the season, though, Gino thought, we can't guard anybody. Well, they've worked really hard at it. Now, individually, one-on-one, they're not great defenders. You'll see they switch on every screen. They play very good team defense. Now, what helps with this team defense is to know you've got someone like Gabby Williams on the backside, always there to help. She does a great job of seeing her man and seeing the ball. Now, you'll see Samuelson gets beat there. Well, never fear. Williams, with her athleticism, coming over to help, and as they do so often, turning defense into offense. Again, it's the team concept that is so impressive. They know who the shooters are. They know who the drivers are. They listen to their scouting report. They are very well prepared. And when you have an outstanding athlete, as in Gabby Williams there, does another outstanding job stopping the ball. Now, to play good defense, it helps to have a full complement of your roster as well. We know this team is depleted with numbers this year, but someone is back, Crystal Dangerfield. And with more on her, let's go to Justine Ward.
Meg, we saw Gino Auriemma take a minute with Crystal today at shoot-around. I asked Crystal, what did he tell you? And he said, you have the ability to be a great player. You have to be consistent. You have to give 100% all the time. You can't just have a good play here or there. And Crystal said the difficult thing is getting that to translate on the court. In her first game back from injury at Temple, she said, I didn't really feel winded, but now the challenge is I had to play at a high pace for 30 minutes. That's how much time they'd ideally like me to have on the court. And what's going to be difficult for her today is she does have a little bit of a cold. However, Gino said there's been an intensity and a bounce in her step that he has seen from her in practice in coming back from this injury. Let's send it over to Eric.
All right, Justine, thanks. I may end up with a little bit of a cold after starting out this telecast. We'll see what happens, though. 5 regular season home games remain. 4 right here at Gamble. It's Tulsa and UConn. The opening tip is next on SNY. Back inside Gamble for the 6th meeting all time between Tulsa and UConn. The starting lineups are presented by Subaru. 2 freshmen and a JUCO transfer in the starting 5 for the Golden Hurricane, including Shug Dixon, who went for 21 in Tulsa in the first meeting this year between these two teams. The familiar 5 for UConn, a double-double last time out for Nafisa Collier against Temple, a career-high 34 for Katie Lou Samuelson in that victory for UConn at Tulsa on January 17th. The opening tip is controlled by UConn in their home white, and we are underway here at Gamble Pavilion. Good crowd turning out here on Super Bowl Sunday. Samuelson's turnaround too strong. Williams, the tap rebound. Kachong to Collier, but rebound to Tulsa.
Rare miss inside by Collier. You gotta love the hustle by Williams to get that offensive rebound.
Collier was 12 of 14 from the field against Temple. Ebony Parker out top to Erica Wakefield. Wakefield, the leading scorer for this Tulsa team, averaging 12 points a game. Throws it out into the corner. Shot clock down to 2, down to 1, and game starts with a strong defensive stand for UConn.
Well, we talked about it off the top of the show. I mean, and defense has been a hallmark of this program over the years. Defense wins championships, and they certainly know a thing or two about championships.
And they know how to share the basketball. Chong to Samuelson for the game's first two.
This year, just a very different look defensively. They switch on every interchange, every screen. Every time two players from the other team go by each other, UConn switches defensively.
Spurl for Wakefield. Wakefield trying to dribble out of trouble, but Gabby Williams is there defensively. Looking on the back cut for Kendry and Elliott, lost out of bounds. Couple of turnovers to start the game for Tulsa. Gino Auriemma, 976 victories with a victory here today. He will tie C. Vivian Stringer for fourth on the all-time coaching list. And Matilda Mossman really going with a young team here. Chong inside the feed from Gabby Williams. Wakefield is the veteran in this group. She is a junior. Lisa Spurl also a junior, but Matilda Mossman really trying to go young with how these Golden Hurricane are put together now. Wakefield's shot is rebounded by Samuelson. The up quick to Nurse. Nurse to the basket. It's 6-0.
Running a little gingerly on that ankle. You can see she's got something on the right foot. The black coming out. Little ankle brace. But she'll never mention it.
Parker gets around Nurse and throws it up for two. UConn jumped out to a 14-0 lead in the first meeting this year between these two teams. But Tulsa gets on the board here in the early going.
This is a much better Tulsa club this year than they were last year.
Collier attempted the three, couldn't get it. Nafisa now 8 of 23 from outside the three-point line this season. Chong defending Wakefield. Dixon, one of those freshmen, showing no fear in that last meeting against UConn, and she has kept it going since that UConn game. One of the top scorers in a 3-second violation called on Tulsa. We'll take you back a couple of possessions, how UConn got down the court quickly after getting the rebound.
Yeah, they released so quickly. Kia Nurse off to the races, and the great long outlet pass from Samuelson. Ball moves up the floor faster on the pass than the dribble.
Samuelson's three is rebounded by Spurl.
What a box out by Spurl.
Wakefield wants to run in transition, ducks inside, but can't get the two. She touched the last UConn basketball.
That was a great step through move by Wakefield, just couldn't get the shot to drop.
Samuelson tries again from the same spot, can't hit. Sanaya Chong fighting on the glass. And a second chance here for UConn.
And Matilda Mossman is imploring the officials, come on, you're not going to call it over the back.
Samuelson can't get the drive to go. Cold start for Katie Lou. Had that early field goal, but has missed 3 straight shots. Three-pointer is off the mark from Ebony Parker, and Samuelson takes it to the center of the court. Williams over the top to Nafisa Collier. Good pass, good catch. Another assist for Gabby Williams. Comes in 4th in the conference, 1st on the team, averaging better than 5 assists a game.
Great chemistry Williams and Collier have inside in that high-low.
Wakefield doesn't need much room. She's proven that during her Tulsa career. Went for 18 points and 5 assists last time out for Tulsa. They put 100 points on the board against ECU. First time in program history they reached the century mark.
What confidence this Tulsa team has.
Well, here's Katie Lou Samuelson. Classic shooter. Gabby Williams can't get the putback. Second chance here, and a trip to the free throw line. Katie Lou Samuelson, a true shooter. You're going to keep shooting until it goes in. And working on the glass, UConn, and working to share the basketball. Finding some points in the paint. Already 8 points in the paint for UConn. Timeout on the floor. UConn women's basketball on SNY is brought to you by the Connecticut State Farm agents of the game, Anthony Raggi in stores, and Talene Carvalho in Danbury. Speak with them today. By Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. And by People's United Bank NA, putting the power of know-how to work for you. UConn out to an 8-4 lead here in the first quarter. Let's check back in with Justine Ward.
Eric, one of the game day traditions this team has is they huddle up about an hour before tip-off. And we've always seen them kind of laughing in that huddle, so we finally asked what goes on in that. And Kia Nurse and Kyla Irwin are the resident comedians of this group. And they told me that Kyla Irwin raps, and they said it's a good stress reliever. It gets out the tension before they get to business.
You know, I thought we were the only ones who did that in our SNY production meeting, but apparently the UConn players have taken a page from our book. Usually you're the one rapping. Just trying to watch Kyla's rap skills. Didn't seem like there was a rap battle developing in there, but maybe we'll follow up on that in the games ahead. Gabby Williams at the free throw line. 1 of 2 for Gabby. UConn has 4 field goals. They have 4 assists. But they are 4 of 12 from the field, and now UConn brings out the pressure out of the made free throw, putting Wakefield on the spot. She does well to break the pressure. And now Tulsa, after the scramble, has 17 to shoot.
I like the poise there by Wakefield to not get too rattled by the pressure.
Deep 3 on the way. Rebounded by Sanaya Chong.
Chong has been impressive on the defensive end early here this afternoon.
Nurse to Nafisa Collier, but she walked. That's turnover number 1 for Connecticut.
Nice idea with the pass. Gino with a new dude.
Jessica Pongonis into the game for Tulsa, number 22, senior out of Indiana, transferred from St. Joe's. Pongonis tries to set the screen. Parker trying to find Spurl. UConn's done a good job here defensively. 4 turnovers now for Tulsa. And a tip by Wakefield. Battle for the loose ball. Ripped away by Wakefield. Wakefield on the run. Can't get the runner, and Gabby Williams with the rebound. Now UConn will try to run again. Collier, Gabby Williams, and a trip to the free throw line. Gabby had a mismatch on the inside against Ebony Parker, and will head to the free throw line.
Well, Chong could have shot that ball. I like that they're trying to get the ball inside. They've been off from the outside. Well, they've got some height advantage inside. Get the ball in the lane. Proved, make Tulsa prove that they can stop you down low.
Tatiana Perez, sophomore from Texas, will come in now for the Golden Hurricane. Mentioned that victory over ECU, 100-92 was the final. Kendrian Elliott had a career-high 27 in that game. Hasn't been the crisp start that UConn was hoping for, and Shook Dixon gets her first points, and it's 9-6. Reminiscent of the Houston game, that noon start at the XL Center where it took a little while for things to kick in.
And then the Temple game, they started great as Samuelson knocks down one just inside the three-point line.
She struggled from outside the three-point line, knocks down the 2, knocks the pass. Here comes Crystal Dangerfield into the game as Gabby Williams will sit down. Well, Gabby's 1 for 4 from the free throw line, 0 for 1 from the field. Has 3 rebounds and a couple of assists.
Gino talked a lot about this team's immaturity in the beginning of the season. And as you see, another shot knocked down by Shook Dixon. But, he coming into the year wasn't so sure about it. And they made great progress early. And we've seen in the last couple games a good half and then a bad half. Start the game bad, come back in the second half better.
Samuelson just off the mark. 2 of 8 now from the field for Katie Lou.
even though they lost by 40 on the 17th of January, as Dixon's pass is thrown out of bounds. Tulsa did some good things in the second half. They lost by 40, but they felt pretty good about what they did against Gino's squad, especially when it came to Shug Dixon. So they've kind of kept that going here in a little bit.
And yeah, Mossman said after the game, and she even reiterated it to you and I here today, she was pleased with the way they competed. They played hard. Hey, they had more second chance points than UConn did in that game.
Sanaya Chong knocks down the 3. 5 early points for Sanaya on 2 of 2 shooting. 5-point UConn lead. That's the first 3 for UConn. They are 1 of 5 from outside the 3-point line. They struggled on the 3-point shooting at Temple, 4 of 16, and struggle here on this defensive trip. Spurl, her first 2.
Well, Gino has been concerned that they can turn it on and turn it off. He would rather them just keep it on all the time.
Dangerfield kicks it out to Sanaya Chong. Sanaya did a good job to follow her miss and finds Nafisa Collier. Well done by Sanaya.
Playing the best basketball of her career.
5 points, 2 assists in the early going for the senior. Tipped by Collier. Cleaned up by Parker. Dixon, can't keep your hands down on her. She will not pass up a shot. We've seen that so far in the 2 meetings between UConn and Tulsa. Nurse passed up the open 3. Samuelson and Sanaya Chong left all alone and missed the bunny.
She wants that one back.
Too open, perhaps.
Yeah. She said, wait a minute, where are all the blue shirts?
Tulsa is struggling with the pressure. They throw it out of bounds. That is turnover number 6 for the Golden Hurricane. Alexis Golden is in, a freshman from Oklahoma. She did not play in the first meeting against UConn due to an Achilles injury. Chong from deep. And last touched by Tulsa will be UConn basketball with 19 seconds to go in the first quarter. Well, we talked about at the top of the telecast, the first half against Temple was just about perfect. That's not a word that comes to mind here for Connecticut in the first quarter. It has been a struggle for the Huskies. Chong knocks it off of Dixon. Final seconds of the half, and Dixon's shot is knocked down by Kia Nurse, and that is the end of what was a ragged first quarter for Connecticut. They do have a 5-point lead, but they shot 33% from the field, 7 of 21 for top-ranked UConn. Trying to get their 97th consecutive victory back here at Gamble Pavilion in Stores. It's a 5-point lead for the top-ranked Huskies after 1 here on SNY. Perfect way to start Super Bowl Sunday, especially for the Patriot fans who have turned out here today. Feel sorry for the Falcon fans. I don't think it's going to go their way today, but that's my professional opinion. 5-point lead for UConn at the end of 1. Let's check in with Meg for a look at Comel's Court Vision, brought to you by Yale New Haven Health.
You know, well, we talked about defense off the top of the show. This is an example where they just didn't communicate. We don't often see this. Watch this. So there was the pick and roll right on the ball. So why are those 2 defenders, Samuelson and Collier, why are they both on the ball? You know, if you're gonna double team, then you're gonna have the rotation over. So nobody rotated, or one of you has to, you have to communicate. One takes the ball, and one has to stay with their man. And we very rarely see them make that mistake and get beat like that this year.
Another freshman on the floor for Tulsa to start the second quarter, Addison Richards, number 4. Golden picked up her dribble for a split second there. Elliott was open in the paint, but UConn back the other way. Samuelson, 3-point shot just is not there for UConn, but the effort is there for Collier on the offensive glass. Dangerfield, wide open 3. Connecticut is now 1 for 10 from outside the three-point line.
My inclination would be run offense for 20 seconds and get a layup. Get yourself back into the flow offensively that way, and then start hoisting threes again.
This is the best three-point shooting team in the country, Meg, at 41%, and Tulsa's letting them, giving them open looks for three. You're saying pass,
Well,
pass up that
yeah,
look at three.
sometimes you just got to change your mojo. Nice
That's a
play.
good way to do it. Dangerfield, beautiful little pass to Collier, the finish and the foul.
See, that's something that Dangerfield can do perhaps better than anyone on the team. Oh, perfect timing. She sees, she knows what she wants to do. What incredible court vision she has. That's what a point guard does.
18 minutes against Temple, 6 points and 1 assist. Justine, what was going on in that UConn huddle during the timeout?
Well, Eric, it was a little different. Gino didn't have much to say in that huddle, but we did hear a lot from the assistant coaches. The first thing I heard was we have to rebound the basketball, and that came from Chris Daly. Shea Ralph also spoke, saying we have to trap Tulsa on sides, not in the middle, and we have to get open shots. It's as simple as that. We have to knock those in, guys.
Thank you, Justine. Yeah, Gino walked out of that huddle. He listened for a little while, but then he stepped away. So that's usually the telltale sign that things are not going the way they were drawn up. Dalton tries the crossover, little pull-up. Kia Nurse takes it away for Connecticut.
And don't forget, it's often not the first time he's seeing this. You know, he'll see trends like this in practice.
Nurse turned it over. Three-pointer missed by Richards. Offensive rebound for Spurl. And another rebound for Collier. 4 rebounds now for Nafisa. Chong takes it to the basket. And she'll head to the free throw line to shoot 2. Aggressive take by Sanaya Chong.
The confidence of Sanaya Chong. You know, early in the year, I don't think she would have taken that to the basket so strong. But feeling really good about her game, and she's earned it.
She's been outstanding at the free throw line. That's the 14th free throw in a row that she's made. Galton picked up her second personal foul. Up to 76%.
I was wondering if you were going to be a kiss of death.
I cannot. I don't have that power. If I had power, Meg, I would have done the open of the show in the nice warm building instead of being put on the sidewalk by John DeMarsico. Something I said to him. Wakefield trying to spin away and threw it away. 21-11. Tulsa has not scored so far here in the second quarter.
One of the big reasons they haven't scored is because of the defense of the Connecticut Huskies.
Collier was open a couple of times. UConn couldn't get it there. Now Dangerfield, oh, beautiful little spin move. Another missed layup for UConn. Chong missed one, and great look for Samuelson, won't go down.
Some days are just a grind.
Katie Lou is now 2 of 12 from the field. Inside of 7 minutes to play in the first half. Dixon gave up her dribble. Spurl can't hit, and a foul called on Ty-J Scales. So your Katie Lou Samuelson, we saw she kept trying to shoot threes. You can see the frustration is there right now. How do you get back into the game? How do you find your rhythm?
You know what? You just got to keep playing. You can't stress about it. You can't overthink it. You know, focus on other things. Focus on defense. Focus on making good passes, setting up your teammates.
Well, she's mad right now. We'll see how she plays when she's mad. And a foul called on Tulsa.
This is when you learn about players' maturity and how they handle adversity. And it's not easy.
Spurl picks up her second personal foul. Collier for 2. 9 points for Collier on 4 of 7 shooting. Perez. Dixon. Chong really trying to extend the defense out on Dixon, and a traveling violation. That's 10 turnovers now for the Golden Hurricane. Came in averaging 14 a game. Your turnover numbers are generally skewed when you face UConn at the end of the day. Will bring up your average. Samuelson again. Shooters keep shooting. I guess that's the old saying, right?
And that was the one shot where I thought, well, she probably didn't have to take that. I mean, everyone she takes has an opportunity to go in. Don't get me wrong.
Collier.
Good inside position by Collier.
That's her 5th rebound. Dangerfield tried to get it into Collier, and Elliott knocked it out of bounds. Like Nafisa was bumped as well, no call. It will be UConn basketball. 5:26 to go in the second quarter. Chong calls for it. Another look for 3, another miss. Connecticut's now 1 for 12 from outside the 3-point line. Dixon trying to get a little tricky with the dribble, and there to clean it up is Elliott. First points of the second quarter for Tulsa, 10-point Connecticut lead.
Physical in this game in the lane.
Dangerfield to Collier. Wakefield may have been bumped by Dangerfield. Down she goes, and now numbers the other way, and Dangerfield to Nurse. Chong, now a layup for Samuelson. That one will go down.
I like that play by the senior, Sanaya Chong. Give it to number 33. Let her get on the board, get some confidence.
Timeout being called here by Tulsa. We'll take it as well with 4:17 to go in the second quarter. UConn's offense spinning its wheels a little bit, so bring in the freshman point guard for a little traction. And that's helped UConn by 14. UConn's fabulous February home schedule includes 3 weekend games and a top 5 showdown against South Carolina on the 13th. Pick your seats and print it home at UConnTickets.com. Sure to stay with us at halftime. Gary Apple and Carol Walters will have analysis, and you'll hear from Nafisa Collier on her pregame superstition on the UConn women's basketball halftime show presented by your local Ford dealer. Well, if you remember, against Temple, UConn shot 77% from the field, 20 of 26. In the first half today, not even close, 35%. And, you know, you're missing some layups, you're missing some open looks. We see Kyla Irwin come into the game here in the first half for Katie Lou Samuelson, who has really struggled here today. Rare off day for Katie Lou. 0 of 6 from outside the 3-point line, 3 of 14 from the field, man.
I would say it's probably the only game all year that we've done that we've seen Samuelson shoot like this. And you know what? I don't think it's necessarily time to cause file the alarms, as there's a foul here on Tulsa. But, Samuelson's struggling. You know what? It's a long season. You're going to have days where shots just don't go in. And I don't, I think because we're not used to seeing it, oh, wow, what's happening? Well, shots are starting dropping.
But even great shooters have a crisis of confidence sometimes, and that could be the case here now when you're 0 for 6. I mean, I don't doubt for a second
if it were Tulsa, 3 or 4 games worth, maybe.
Yeah, sure. One game, no.
Right.
I agree.
Right. Like, I would expect her to explode in the second half.
Comes in the game at 46% from outside the 3-point line. So Collier at the free throw line after the hard work on the rebound on the other end. It's Nurse, Dangerfield, Collier, Irwin, and Chong. I don't recall this combination of 5 players at any time this year.
Well, because Tulsa's a little undersized, they can play with it a little bit.
Chong almost got the steal. Ashley Hughes into the game, the shooter. And Chong knocked it away, 2 on the shot clock. Really aggressive defense by UConn. Nothing's fallen on the offensive end, but one thing you can't control is your effort on the defensive end.
Absolutely, and we've seen them turn defense into offense so often this season, and that's what they've got to do. Just sit down in a stance, play good D.
Wakefield did not get the shot off in time. It's a shot clock violation. Turnover number 11.
Mossman really has her team playing with a lot of confidence.
They come in 4 and 5 in conference play. Kyla Irwin getting some first half run here today for UConn.
And that's because she's earned it in practice.
She set the screen for Nurse, and that looked great coming off of Kia Nurse's hand. 5 points now for Kia. Just the second 3 that UConn's made here this afternoon. Wakefield. And working inside for the 2 is Kendrian Elliott. She has 6. On the other end, Collier has been consistent all game long. 13 points now for Nafisa.
Yeah, that possession just so quick with the spin move, turn, and score. Defense had no time to react.
Collier again getting a hand on it. She knocked it out of bounds.
So
Tulsa basketball.
When coaches harp about keeping your hands up and keeping them in the passing lanes, that's why.
Gabby Williams has barely played today as well. It's just 7 minutes for Gabby. 1.3 rebounds. A couple assists. Seven on the shot clock. Dixon taken away by Chong, and a foul called on Dixon will send Sanaya Chong to the free throw line. UConn has not committed a foul here in the first half. That will be the 8th foul of the game for Tulsa.
Well, we've talked about maturity for Gino Auriemma's club. You know, that play by Dixon just showed, you know, her youth and immaturity, committing the turnover and then compounding it by immediately committing a foul.
Sanaya keeps making free throws. This hasn't been a typical UConn performance as they have struggled here in the first half. Yet you look at the scoreboard and it's a familiar result. They're up by 21. Only 4 points scored by Tulsa so far here in the second quarter. Dixon, open look. There haven't been many open looks for Shook Dixon, but she does have 8 after knocking down that 3.
And Kia Nurse tapped her chest. She said, that's my fault. I shouldn't have given her the open look.
Collier rolls to the basket and scores 2 more.
Good body control by Collier to pull up and not really go flying in there like she could have.
Dangerfield tries to close out, but was too late on Ebony Parker, who hits the 3-pointer. She's a shooter, leader in 3s made and 3s attempted for this Tulsa team. Chong with a little crossover and a pull-up. Won't drop. Kyla Irwin, good hustle play, but made a mistake and threw it out to Elliott. Another 3 on the way. That one was rushed by Parker, and it'll be Connecticut basketball under a minute to go here in our first half. Buildings lacked a little energy here today. The bench has gotten into the game here early with Dangerfield and certainly Irwin playing in the first half.
They don't exactly look too enthused over there on that bench.
And 3 seconds, I believe, the call for Connecticut. Well, Justine, I think you'll have a couple of interesting moments with Gino coming up here in a few seconds. Kia Nurse running the floor. Beautiful finish by Kia. 7 points now for Nurse.
And a nice find by Collier.
Perez, with time winding down, goes for the extra pass to Elliott to beat the clock. 8 points for Elliott, and that is how the first half will come to a close. UConn is on top by 17, but it was a struggle to say the least, and we saw a good chunk of that half on the bench. Gabby Williams and Katie Lou Samuelson. Here's Justine with Gino.
Gino, you ended the half with Katie Lou and Gabby Williams on the bench. What can you say to them during the halftime here to get them going second half?
It's February. If I have to say anything to get anybody going in February, then you know what? We got a lot of problems.
Kind of expected that here today from the head coach. Gino Auriemma walks off with his team on top by 17, but, well, if we could take the camera into the locker room today, we would, but we'll pass. Should be interesting in there. Halftime report with Gary and Kara coming up next. UConn women's basketball on SNY is brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, proud to be the official furniture store of the UConn Huskies. By Trantolo and Trantolo, Connecticut's personal injury law firm. Save time. Call 9. And by Toyota. Toyota's Safety First sales event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. Coach Randy Edsall is back and ready to lead UConn to the future. Be part of the excitement. Get your season tickets today. Reserve your seats now at UConntickets.com. Brace yourselves. Here come the halftime stats presented by Bob's Discount Furniture. UConn shot 53% in the second quarter, which brought them up to 42% for the first half. Far cry from what they did against Temple in the first half. And their top two players, Katie Lou Samuelson and Gabby Williams, their numbers not very good. The minutes for Gabby, just 7 minutes in the first half, 16 for Katie Lou. She was 3 of 14 from the field. Gabby attempted only one shot, and they are combined for 7 rebounds. And Samuelson was 0 for 6 from outside the three-point line. Eric and Meg back with you here courtside. Is it just an off day, or did you sense or see a lack of effort from UConn in that first half?
You know, it might be a little bit of a combination. Now, historically, if Gino were to keep someone like Gabby Williams on the bench for 7 minutes, well, there's a reason. He's sending a message. What that message is, I don't know. And nobody knows but everyone inside that team. But, you know, a little bit of effort, a little bit of just, it's more mindset. And he's, you know, the master at getting his teams to play a certain way. They didn't play that way in those first 20 minutes. I'm sure it was a colorful locker room there at halftime.
It's one word.
And I would imagine the effort here in the second half would be very different. Pretty intense right now in that huddle. And one of the things I could tell he just said is people feeling sorry for themselves.
Eyes locked in. You saw Holly Bent, Katie Lou, Kia Nurse. Well, we've watched this team develop throughout the season. They're facing a challenge right now, not on the scoreboard, but just about how they're going to handle things coming out of the locker room.
And this is why he's the best coach in the game, perhaps ever. Because he doesn't let them settle.
Williams to Nurse. Nurse, a little bit of an opening, knocks it down for 2. Kia had 7 in the first half, 9 now for the game. I would be shocked if UConn doesn't blow up to hurricane strength right here. Here's Nurse to the basket, 2 more.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they didn't play decidedly different in this half than they did the first.
There would be nothing new for them to come out of the locker room and just dominate in the third quarter. That's been the way it's been. Although against Temple did outscore UConn in the second half in that meeting in Philadelphia, but UConn was at such a different level in that first half. And here's a foul called on Gabby Williams.
Well, again, really good defense. Leads to quick points on the other end. And it helps when you got Kia Nurse leaking out, but the nice long outlet pass from Williams gets it going.
Elliott at the free throw line. The foul is on Gabby Williams, her first, the team's first this game. UConn did not commit a foul in the first half. Sometimes you see that in a basketball game, like, whoa, you didn't commit a foul. Were you aggressive enough? Were you physical enough? Were you intense enough?
And then you could also look at it and say, you know what, you were so on defensively, your feet were always where they were supposed to be. And you didn't commit fouls because you didn't make mistakes.
Elliott picks up the personal foul. Samuelson to trigger the inbound. Collier will step to the free throw line. Well, Nafisa Collier certainly a bright spot in that first half for UConn. 7 of 10 from the field. She had 17 points, 8 rebounds, and a couple of assists. She played all 20 minutes. Kia Nurse played all 20 minutes. Sanaya Chong played all 20 minutes in the first half.
You know, and while they said Kia Nurse's ankle is fine, you would think it'd be nice to get her some rest for that ankle. It doesn't look like it's going to happen here today.
Samuelson knocked it out of bounds off the Collier miss. It's Tulsa basketball. You can see that right ankle braced up pretty well for Kia.
Yeah, she twisted it in practice last Tuesday. We saw her wince a couple times Wednesday night at Temple. But think about it. She had Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 3 days is a long time. They do a great job. The sports medicine staff here.
Little delay here. Maybe just checking on the clock. 8:42 to go here in the third quarter. UConn has started the quarter outscoring Tulsa 5-0. Elliott and Dixon led Tulsa's in scoring in the first half, each with 8 points. Wakefield was held to 2. Parker knocks down the 3. 8 points now for Ebony Parker.
What a difference she has made since she entered the starting lineup with this team.
Collier outside, Samuelson. Shot's just not there, but good effort. Kia Nurse, another missed layup for UConn. Is that 3?
At least.
And you know the thought that's racing through his head is missed layups don't hurt you in conference play, but they will crush you against South Carolina in the later rounds of the NCAA tournament. Batted out, but Parker's the first one there, and she gets the runner. Well, after taking a couple of early shots, Tulsa has bounced right back. Gabby Williams trying to gather a tough pass. Still fighting for it. Good effort by Gabby to get it out to Kia Nurse for 3.
And I thought Nurse had just hurt her ankle on the previous defensive possession and was slow to get up, but looked fine from that corner as she launched that 3.
Parker. Parker fire another 3. Samuelson had it knocked out of her hands by Spurl, but now Spurl throws it away. Gabby Williams has Nurse up ahead on her right. Nurse to Samuelson for 2.
Pretty fast break.
And a Tulsa timeout called with 6:42 to go in the third quarter. UConn getting on the run, sharing the basketball. They had 14 assists on 15 field goals in the first half. And Gabby Williams running the break. An unselfish play on the other end, leading to a Katie Lou Samuelson. Well, UConn's had to work a little bit here today against Tulsa. Been fighting themselves at times. Still lead by 22 here in the early going in the third quarter at Gamble Pavilion. 50-28. UConn has outscored Tulsa 10-5 here in the third.
It's not always supposed to be easy. You know, we joke about sometimes our expectations are a bit high because we're used to Connecticut winning by so much, but it's a long season, a lot happens. You don't always remember the bad stuff at the end of the season, but
There's
what happens.
Something good right there, Meg. I'm sorry, with Gabby Williams coming in and helping out, blocking the shot out of bounds. 7 to shoot here for Tulsa.
Yeah, more good weak side help by Williams.
Williams defending Dixon. Dixon, the runner, and a foul is called on Samuelson. 1 on the shot clock.
Let's see, was she there? Oh, I thought she was there. I thought you probably could have called a foul on Williams.
2 free throws here for Dixon. Freshman from St. Louis has been on a roll. 20 points or more in 5 of the last 6 games, including going for 21 against UConn when she hit 5 threes. She's in the double figures here today. Went for 20 against ECU last time out. 12 of those 20 points coming at the free throw line. Samuelson. Samuelson on the drive. Count it in the foul. Blocking foul called on Perez.
That play that Samuelson just made, see, those are the plays that I think help get players back on track offensively. You know, you got to work. You get bumped, you get hit, fouled. Old school three-point play. I would say the next 3 she takes, she's going to make.
This is the free throw. Can't finish off the three-point play. And that's a lesson for any basketball player at any level. That's what you'll tell your kids. Your shot isn't going down. Make something else happen.
That's
Take
right.
it to the basket.
Yeah.
Get to the free throw line.
Absolutely.
Dixon the spurl. Williams tipped it out to Chong, and Nurse is off and running. Has to sprint after that lead pass by Chong. Collier can't handle the pass, but still grabs it. Now Gabby Williams with the left hand, the finish, and the foul.
Pretty pass from Kia Nurse.
First field goal for Gabby.
Just couldn't get a handle on it, but good hustle by Collier. And a nice finish by Williams.
Four points for Gabby Williams. Samuelson with the steal. More good defense by the Huskies. And a finish on the other end by Katie Lou, who's up to 12 points.
And here we're seeing, again, a little bit more defense turning into offense. Haven't seen a ton of that. You got to give credit to Tulsa for taking care of the basketball.
Dixon got caught in deep, kicked it outside to Perez. Shot clock at 6. Dixon wants it. Dixon takes it over Williams for 2. Tough shot by the freshman. Nurse tried to get it to Williams, but taken away by Scales, who stepped out of bounds. It'll be UConn basketball when we come back to Gamble Pavilion. Katie Lou Samuelson getting better and better on the defensive end. Defense into offense. And UConn up to 25. Tuesday on an all-new Gino Auriemma show. Gino talks about the biggest surprise this season. Plus, hear his thoughts on whether student-athletes should be paid on the Gino Auriemma show, presented by UConn Health. It's Tuesday at 9:30, and it's only on SNY. Here's today's UConn trivia question, presented by Mercedes-Benz. Who holds the program record for most points in a sophomore season? We'll have the answer coming up in just a few moments. Freshman Crystal Dangerfield checking into the game for UConn. Well, I think in that building, that equation does work out. 6 o'clock maybe singing a different tune. Here's Kia Nurse on the turnaround. There's Collier on the glass one more time. Nafisa now with 9 rebounds to go along with their 18 points. 3 rebounds on the offensive end. Four minutes to go. Quarter number 3. Samuelson, Dangerfield, Nurse. Collier's going to get called for the foul.
That was a good call. She's had a couple of those over the back.
That'll be her first personal and the 13th foul. Entry to Scales. Gabby Williams got a hand on it. Good defensive play by Gabby. Dangerfield. Good look up to Gabby Williams, who kept running, and Dangerfield found her.
You know, point out the difference that Gabby Williams makes on this team, and she only played 7 minutes in the first half. Stands to reason they didn't play the same because they didn't have her in there.
Spurl's entry pass to Scales. Can't finish, and Dangerfield rips it down. Collier looking for Williams. Nurse called for a travel. Great defense turned into offense on the other end. Gabby Williams with the steal, and she'll finish. It's our drive of the game presented by GMC.
Good active hands in the passing lanes on the defensive end. It's nice that you can start the break with a steal and finish it with a layup.
Crystal Polk comes into the game for Tulsa. She's trying to post up Williams. Gabby again knocks it away. Wakefield sprinting back, but Gabby will take it in for 2 more.
She's more involved on the defensive and offensive parts of the floor, and all of a sudden, boom, UConn playing better.
There's Crystal Dangerfield getting a hand in there. Dangerfield getting on the floor. Battle for the loose ball. Jasmine Butler on the bottom of the pile for Tulsa.
You know, great anticipation. And then the ability to finish on the run. They need number 15 on the floor for them to play their best.
Sorry, Nafisa Collier will check out. She has played well here today, been very consistent. She'll sit down, and Natalie Butler into the game for the first time.
Yeah, Butler's got to get minutes.
Spurl shot drops. First points for Spurl. Chong, Dangerfield, Butler, Williams, and Samuelson. Samuelson cuts to the basket, the feed by Gabby for 2.
Gabby making her presence felt defensively, offensively by scoring buckets, making great passes.
Katie Lewis, 7 of 12 from inside the 3-point line, 0 for 7 outside the 3-point line. She is now up to 14 points. Collier leading the way with 18.
You know, finding another way to be impactful. Passed exactly where she needed to pass it to Samuelson with a nice finish.
Less than 90 seconds to play in the quarter. Butler, she has been on target for UConn. 2 points for Natalie. She had 8 points and 4 rebounds in her 19 minutes against Temple.
A great pick and roll with Chong.
Yeah, averaging almost 6 points a game now. Golden well off the mark. Williams with the rebound. You can see she just turns and wants to run. Bounces it through to Samuelson. Reverses for 2. Best play of the game for Connecticut.
That'll get a smile back on her face.
And that has been something we have not seen today. We have not seen a lot of smiles from this Connecticut team, but this third quarter is taking the pressure off a little bit.
And it figures that Williams was the one who made her smile.
Wakefield. And there's Gabby one more time. What a defensive performance by Gabby Williams in the third quarter. Ten points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists for Gabby. And that was her 5th steal. Final seconds of the half, and one more for Gabby Williams. Yeah, should go in the books as one as she knocked it away. And that is the end of the third quarter. Little bit of a spring in the step for UConn right now after they outscored Tulane to Tulsa, I beg your pardon, in that quarter. What a basket. Samuelson with the finish, and UConn rolling at Campbell. Just like that, the lead goes up to 35 for UConn after they outscored Tulsa 29-11 in the third quarter. Gabby Williams was the catalyst.
She was. They missed her in that first half. Defensively getting it done as she always does, turning that defense into offense. Just anticipation, sneaky coming from the backside. 10 points, 6 assists, 6 steals. My goodness.
Well, in that quarter, she had 4 of her 5 steals, scoring 9 points, going 4 for 4 from the field. She will be on the bench here to start the fourth quarter as Nafisa Collier into the game with Butler, Chong, Dangerfield, and Nurse. Collier. Nafisa now past the 20-point mark. Right at the number, actually. 20 points for Collier. 11th time this season she's gone for 20 or more, and a foul called on Connecticut. Back over to Justine.
Hey, Eric, well, in that huddle, we heard Gino telling his team, first, come off those ball screens really hard. He also mentioned in transition, they need to drive it up the floor, get in the lane as fast as possible. And when you get there, look for a guy in the low post open right away. Make sure to keep those Tulsa guards in front of you and keep up the communication. Eric?
Yeah, Nurse sticks a hand in there to get the steal. Took her a second to control the dribble. Dangerfield hands it off to Collier.
They really look like they're having fun now. Not so much the first 20.
Well, the first 20 minutes of game action and then the next 10 minutes in the locker room. Great defense again, and a foul called on Dangerfield. She thought she had all ball. Kia Nurse, great hands on the defensive end.
Second personal, second team foul.
Now she had Collier up ahead, but
she
just
saw her and she didn't quite want to force it.
Yeah. Seems to be okay. I mean, she's staying on the floor, so if there was any issue with the ankle, she wouldn't be on the floor right now. The comfortable lead.
But the problem that the coaching staff has is they can't take her out. She's sort of the floor general out there, and now, yeah, you have Dangerfield in there as the point guard, but Kia Nurse has just become such a trusted member of this team. They like having her on the floor as often as possible, but she's not cutting as hard and as crisp as she has before twisting that ankle.
Oh, great vision to find Nafisa Collier cutting to the basket. 24 for Nafisa, the assist to Kia.
She still makes great passes.
3 assists now for Nurse to go along with her 14 points, 6 of 9 shooting for the junior. She will not take herself out of the game. That much we know. I mean, there's hockey blood in the family, so you got that mentality. Dixon throws it over. Shot clock down to 1. Perez hoists it off the top of the backboard. That's a shot clock violation. UConn basketball, another stop for UConn.
Well, the key is to, see the floor, know what you want to do. And Collier, what I love about Nafisa Collier, she does such a phenomenal job of moving without the basketball and cutting to the open spot. And Nurse is good enough passer that she'll find her.
Chong sets and makes a 3. All flowing now for Connecticut. They have outscored Tulsa 38-12 in the second half. Pongonis kicked by Collier. 15 to shoot for Golden Hurricane. Our next UConn game on SNY this Tuesday will be in Cincinnati when the Huskies take on the Bearcats. Our coverage begins at 6:30 with the Connecticut Lottery pregame show. So quick turnaround here, Sunday afternoon game. Team will fly out Monday for the Tuesday night game in Cincinnati. Kyla Irwin into the game for Nafisa Collier. Nice round of applause for Collier. 24 points on 10 of 13 shooting, 9 rebounds and 3 assists for Nafisa.
Too bad Parker couldn't knock that down. A great double screen set. She was wide open.
Collier on the bench. Sanaya Chong knocks down the 2. Sanaya now with 14 points, had 12 points and 6 assists against Temple, so she's on a bit of a run right now. 14, 6, and 6 the line for Sanaya. Picked up by Nurse. Up to Sanaya. Nurse for 3. Butler tipped it. Dangerfield sprints after and she kicked it out of bounds. Just a much more active team on both ends of the floor, and
a
smiles.
Different bench now, right? Remember early in the game they looked the Les Mis.
Except Gabby has still got the game face on. I wonder if the post-game comments from Gino when it comes to why Gabby Williams only played 7 minutes. We've seen it a couple times. Remember the SMU game down in Dallas? You know, she was standing off the side with Gino while the play was going on and trying to pump her up, and we saw that in the Houston game. Natalie Butler with the block, and Chong has the basketball. I think in the past, Gabby has gotten down on herself, and she's needed a pat on the back to get going as Sanaya knocks down another one. 17 points now.
Sanaya on fire. She is feeling it.
Did you say Sanaya on fire or fire? Because the first one you could work with a little bit. Tulsa's going to take the timeout. Again, like we've talked about throughout, when UConn is clicking this year, it starts on this end of the floor. The block shot and then turning quickly into offense. And Sanaya Chong on target, or as Meg would say, on fire. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Gary and Kara. Time to answer our trivia question presented by Mercedes-Benz. Who holds the program record for most points in a sophomore season? And the answer, Brianna Stewart went for 777 points, averaging 19.4 points a game. However, her record is within reach because Katie Lou Samuelson came into this game averaging better than 21 points a game. She has been held in check here for 16. But also Nafisa Collier having an outstanding sophomore season. They were very nice enough to sit next to each other to help us accommodate the trivia answer.
They're always trying to help us out, right?
Butler with the box out. And you got a good look of it as Molly Benn is into the game. The leap they have each made here from freshman to sophomore year. You knew going in with the departure of 3 great players that there were going to be more minutes, more shots, more opportunities, but they made the most of those opportunities without question. Here's Natalie Butler.
Talk about a leap. How about Butler from last year to this year?
Gonna have to haul in some math majors here because the shooting in the second half for UConn is probably going to mirror the shooting in the first half of the game at Temple at this rate.
If math majors are needed, I will be leaving.
Well, they've outscored Tulsa 16-1 here in the fourth quarter. In the second half, they've outscored them 45-12. And if you stall for a second, I'll get the math on the field goal shooting in the second half here for UConn.
Kickball by Tulsa.
They are 20 of 25 from the field in the second half. They were 20 of 26 in the first half from the field against Temple. Let's go back over to Justine.
Eric, Gino said, what's different about Sanaya Chong and her senior campaign? There are no highs and lows like we saw the last 3 years. Every game she's been consistent. We know she's going to get double figures or close. Hopefully she gets us 4 or 5 assists, and she doesn't turn the ball over. Now, Sanaya told me, you know, I've been through it all. I've been through the good and the bad. I can't get those years back, so it's now or nothing. I have to give it my all.
Well, that's usually that urgency that a senior faces when they realize the sand is going through the hourglass. And 17 points here today, 7 rebounds, 7 assists for Sanaya. And she's had big games, and that's what Justine was referencing, the highs and lows. Remember at MSG last year against Maryland, came up with the big shot, but those big moments were spread apart in her first 3 years, but she has fit right in with this group here this year.
Yes, and it was great play, great game as Tulsa walks and turns it over. She'd have a great game, and then she wouldn't follow it up. It would be a subpar game, and it was those ups and downs, and now she's just been so steady, so consistent. Credit some of it to maturity, but she worked hard in the offseason. She's got a great mindset.
Dangerfield tried to feed it into Butler. UConn turns it over. 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. UConn on top by 50. Just joining us, it was a struggle in the first half. UConn's lead was 17. Gino Oriema had a very short one-sentence answer for Justine as he walked off the court. We usually get one of those a year. Today was the day. Richard with her first points. I think one thing too, just to finish up the point on Sanaya, is Dangerfield drains a three. First points for Crystal. Sanaya's played a lot because Crystal Dangerfield missed 5 games, so Sanaya during that time averaged better than 36 minutes a game. So she was getting a lot of time, and I think probably got into more of a rhythm as the season went along.
Yeah, you work out a lot of kinks, and you know what to expect. And she's really developed beautifully this season. It's been fun to watch her. And it is amazing as a senior. You do cherish every moment, because every day and every game gets you closer to the end.
Butler a little too strong, got a hand in there, but it's picked up by Perez. Richards for 3. Long rebound for Elliott. Elliott takes it at Butler, and Natalie Butler standing her ground. Inside of 3 minutes to play here at Gamble, and Elliott gets whistled for the personal foul. So we told you what's next for UConn. They'll be at Cincinnati on Tuesday. After getting off to a great start in conference play, Cincinnati has fallen on tough times. They've lost 3 in a row. They're now 5-4 in conference play. SMU will be at the XL Center. We'll have those 2 games for you before that big matchup against South Carolina. And then we're down in New Orleans. Nia Chong is done for the day.
Another terrific outing as Tierney Lawler comes in, the pride of Ansonia, Connecticut.
Sanaya was 17 points on 5 of 10 shooting, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Molly Bent rebounded by Galden. Irwin can't hold on to it. Butler's there to pick it up for UConn. Dangerfield, Bent, Lawler, Irwin, Butler, the 5 on the floor right now for top-ranked Connecticut. Huskies will improve to 22-0. Irwin for 2.
Good position inside by Irwin, and a nice pass from Butler.
First points for the freshman. Nice dribble drive by Alexis Galden. 4 points now for the freshman.
That was a really pretty play by Galden.
She's won 2 Freshman of the Week awards in the American. Shook Dixon won the last 2 Freshman of the Week awards in the American. Gives you an idea that Tulsa playing a lot of young players. Perez, the sophomore. Pongonis for 3, got it. It's a 2, toe on the line, a 2 for the senior, her first points.
Yeah, come on. Pongonis, you're a senior. Jess, get that toe behind the line, get 3.
Molly Bent shut off and tried to throw it back to Lawler, but it's taken away by Galden. And good hustle play by Crystal Dangerfield. Knock it out of bounds.
How about this? Posting up down the lane. It almost took too long to get the pass in, but strong inside post work by the freshman.
Nice little drive by Golden.
As we see Dangerfield bring the ball up the floor, wouldn't you say such an improvement even on the tempo game for Crystal with her minutes and her confidence and just the way she's directing traffic?
Feels that way, especially in the first half, Meg, when UConn needed somebody to stabilize things. She came in, they played a little bit better, wasn't great as Irwin knocks down a three. But even though what Crystal does isn't perfect by any means yet, I think you see a lot of good signs in the way she plays, especially filling that true point guard position. Gonis again. Bend across half court. Butler. Dangerfield. Second three-pointer for Crystal Dangerfield. She'll finish the game with 6 points, and back to your point, 6 assists. She ended up with a high number when it came to assists.
Well,
Shot clock is off.
Just looking more comfortable, getting more game action under her belt, which really helps after missing those couple of weeks with the foot injury.
Perez knocks down the three. That will be the final points of the game. As the UConn Huskies, in the end, it's a comfortable margin of victory. They win by 46 points. It wasn't always comfortable, though, during the game, especially in the first half, but it was a lot better in the second half.
Well, the second half was better. You know, when Gabby Williams was in there, they played a lot better.
96-50 the final. Time for our player of the game presented by People's United Bank, and we're going with Sanaya Chong after Sanaya scored 17 points, had 7 rebounds and 7 assists in a team-high 36 minutes as UConn improves to 22-0 on the season. They have now won 97 consecutive games after topping Tulsa 96-50 the final. Let's try the Q&A again. Justine with Gino.
Gino, you were pretty fired up at the half. Are you happy with what you saw in the second half?
Well, I thought our defense was really good in the second half, and I thought we had a little more energy in the second half as well. You know, sometimes when you don't shoot the ball particularly well, you have to find other ways to get baskets. You know, and I thought, you know, Fisa really was amazing. You know, and Sanaya. You know, those two especially played, you know, unbelievably well today, and I thought Crystal gave us some great minutes working her way back. So, you know, yeah, we won the game and we did some good things.
For Katie Lou and Gabby Williams, you benched them early on in the first half. Are you pleased with how they responded?
Yeah, I mean, you saw Gabby was a little different in the second half. You know, there's a lot more energy. You know, I think one of the things that happens, you know, with kids today is when things don't go their way, you know, they have to learn how to respond in a way that still makes you have an impact on the game. So if you're not making shots or things are, you know, you're struggling a little bit, find a way to impact the game. And I thought both of them in the second half impacted the game.
Quick turnaround for this team. How do you handle that as you head to Cincinnati?
Well, you know, these guys really hate the practice, so we might just take tomorrow and Tuesday off and just show up for the game. They would love that.
All right, Gino, I think you need a day off, too.
Yeah, I do.
Eric, back to you.
All right, Justine, thank you. Thank you to Gino, who is now tied for 4th all-time with 977 victories with Rutgers head coach C. Vivian Stringer. Tara Vanderveer, of course, getting her 1,000th career win at Maples Pavilion Friday night, joining Pat Summit in the 1,000 win club. Gino up to 977 and counting, as is his team. 97 wins in a row and counting after a 96-50 win. UConn Women's Basketball on SNY is brought to you by Connecticut Lighting Centers and Restoration Lighting Gallery. So much more than just a lighting store. By Subaru of New England, supplying all-wheel drive vehicles with a passion for winter adventure. By the Connecticut State Farm agents of the game, Steve Boyle in Fairfield County, Matthew Bubb in Bristol. Speak with them today. And by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Back for a final word in a moment. Kia Nurse Nafisa Collier and UConn now 22-0 this year after the win.